Yeah. There's so many things I want to say, but I think this reminds me of the idea of like transmuting pain and energy, right? And what's interesting is at like a primal level, people pick up on subtleties. So when you transmute it, the pain to something of power or, inner strength, people see that.
Yeah.
Whether you don't have to, make a billboard and say you've gone through this, right? People can sense that you've overcome things, that you have transmuted that energy. And I think the world around you changes when the world within you changes. So it's like a internal mirror of us.
That's right. Yeah. And boy, I don't know that we're taught transmutation.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
Yeah. That word isn't in culture right now. Now imagine if we could teach your generation what transmutation is.
Yeah. I think that's where real change will start.
Real change.
Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of that, I have a friend who started change.org, and, you know, it was rooted in wanting to make the world a better place. And his famous line amongst our friends is like, yeah, real change starts inside.
Yeah. So true.
And so you can imagine mobilizing an entire ecosystem, people who want to change the world, to know that it starts with them.
I have a friend who's super talented in the creative space, but he really has this like strong self doubt. It's crippling amount, honestly. And I tell him like, how are people going to believe in you if you don't believe in yourself?
Yeah.
Because I think it's paradoxical because we want it the other way around. We want others to believe in us.
So that we then
We
believe
can
in
believe in
ourselves.
ourselves. But I think people believe in you if you have such a conviction that you're like, no, I've done stuff like this, I could do it again.
Yeah.
And then people are like, oh, he seems very confident.
Yeah.
So it's really the other way around. I've tried telling him and teach their own journey, right? It takes time to learn, but I think that's exactly the type of stuff we're talking about.
There was a quote, I think it was a Marion Williamson quote, but we fear, our greatest fear is actually that we are powerful beyond measure. A lot of people will not look inside of themselves and see how powerful they are. You're looking at one right now.
Yeah.
Like, it is a daily struggle. In fact, um, at Stanford, they did a study. The kids with the highest test scores had the highest imposter syndrome rates.
I can believe it.
You know,
I can believe it.
it's actually pretty remarkable. Like, some of the most talented people are people who struggle to believe in themselves because they've always been rewarded externally
Yeah.
for being brilliant, for being smart, for being a good student, for being a good athlete. And external reward is addicting, and it actually is disempowering,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, it crushes identity because the second that's gone, what are you?
Yeah.
Um, I was talking about this here at Blake with some friends the other day. I mean, once an Olympian wins their medal, a lot of them become very depressed
Yeah.
because they worked for 5, 10, 15 years to get there or take MBA or whatever, right? And it's like, well, who am I now?
Right.
So I think there's a strong component of identity to that.
Yeah. And when we talk about identity in the resonance piece, there's a lot of work that will communicate, like through our creator network, around how do you begin to shape a healthy identity that is inner reference. And we form identity around what we believe about ourselves, how people reflect us. We need to gather feedback, and I think there's all these pieces that are available to us. But forming a healthy sense of identity starts first and foremost by realizing that your entire identity is a construct.
I'd even take it a step further and say it starts with stillness, that you have to even take the time to just sit there and think about that. Because we live in a digital age where just take out the phone and start scrolling. You can go on Netflix, YouTube, anything. I mean, name it, right? You could just distract yourself endlessly, which is why I think there's also a growing problem today with identity and such.
Yeah. I've watched my generation and your generation misuse meditation.
Really.
Yeah. So meditation is about the song Chili Peppers, Give It Away. Meditation is about letting go of identities, of stories, watching the mind, but moving to a place where you can transcend the very sense of self for a moment and sense your being.
Yeah.
What I'm noticing our generation doing is like using meditation to clear the mind so they can go be performance again.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.